Before this story slips out of the news and everybody's subconscious, I just wanted to say a few things about the train derailment in Ohio and how messed up it is for people in the area, and how it's probably affecting farmers in the area. In case you haven't heard, there was a huge train derailment in Ohio of a bunch of toxic, nasty chemicals that should have been banned decades ago, like polyvinyl chloride, or vinyl chloride, which I'm assuming is used to make PVC pipes and stuff. And it's incredibly toxic and hazardous and cancerous, and can literally just kill you from breathing it. And the train was also carrying crude oil, I believe, which, if you're a follower of this channel, you already know my opinion on oil and how we should have phased it out 30 fucking years ago and shouldn't be using it anymore right now. And this is just, I mean, how much more of this are communities going to be put through, and how much more of this are we going to take? This train derailment here, this company is sending these trains through small American towns at really high speeds, and they're cutting costs and corners everywhere on safety. And it's hard not to notice that just, less than 2 months ago, the government stepped in and screwed the rail workers and made it so they couldn't have their paid time off and their paid sick leave and things that everybody in this country should be entitled to, like a normal first world country, like paid sick leave, paid vacation, paid time off, universal health care. Okay, let's stay in the parameters of this rant here. But yeah, so the so-called officials in this town released this giant, disgusting plume of smoke. They called it a controlled release, and I don't know how they're controlling it, because it's going in the air, and if it goes in the air from Ohio, chances are it's going to float right over to another state and come down in the rain. Now, what's going to come down in the rain, and how does that affect us? Well, if you happen to live in the Northeast, like I do, this could mean that you are literally getting hydrogen chloride raining down from the sky all over your land that you use to produce your food and that your animals live on. And it's also going to end up in the water wherever this stuff comes down. Because what goes up must come down, and the stuff that they let go up should never, ever, ever be in our environment on this planet. Like, there is no reason for this. We are literally being poisoned to death by these chemical industries right now. And this is no joke, people. You can go type in Ohio train derailment and you're going to find all the news you need on what happened, only they're not going to mention that the company is at fault and that they cut corners everywhere and that this is their fault. Absolutely. And the government's fault. I don't want to call out the B word, but he's the one who shut down the train worker strike and forced them to go back to work without their benefits. So this is what you get, people. This is what you get when you maximize profit over people's lives. You get toxic plumes being released into the sky, and it's going to come down on some farmer's land, and their life is going to be over. Because when these chemicals come down, I don't know how anybody's going to get them out of the soil, out of the water, and out of our air. This is ridiculous. And this is now floating all over the northeast of the United States right now. So I am unbelievably pissed off and mortified, and I'm thinking of the farmers in the immediate area, like the people who are just a half mile or even 5 miles from this accident. Their farms are done. Their farms are over. People are going back to their houses now that the evacuation order is being lifted, and they're finding dead pets, dead chickens, dead everything on their land. Like, nothing survived this unless it got away. So, Yeah, here's another rant on how capitalism does not work because prioritizing profits over people's lives is disgusting and should never be an economic system. Ugh. They are only offering this town $25,000 for the damages. $25,000 for the damages, people. That's like $5 a person. Imagine that your entire house is destroyed and made unfit for living due to chemical contamination. Your livestock is dead, your soil's ruined, and your groundwater is absolutely done for the rest of your life. And the billion-dollar train company is offering you $5 in damages. Can you believe this shit? I don't want to hear anything else about how socialism is bad until somebody tells me how this is good. How is this good? How is this what you want to live under? Well, it's been 6 days since the accident, but what's really terrifying is that I did a search all over YouTube and all over the internet for the direction that the toxic plume is headed and where it's expected to come down, and there is zero information on that. Nobody seems to think it's a priority to track a giant toxic plume and see where it might affect farmers and our ability to grow food and keep our animals safe here. Yeah, this looks like some sort of storm front over here, but I am noticing one thing. I am noticing that an area way out in Utah where there's not many people has the same air pollutant parts per million as New York City. Oh wait, this is Kansas City. Kansas City has a parts per million of 10 and an air quality index of 500. Normally when winds blow from Ohio or Pennsylvania, they go east, but I'm wondering if it went to Kansas City. It's really hard to tell on the map. There's no way to track a toxic plume here on Weather Underground. Let's get rid of the satellite here. Yeah, that's a pretty bad air quality dot right there. Wait, we got another one. This is in Missouri, and we have a hazardous air quality warning. So I don't know where this plume went, but that's kind of terrifying that the so-called authorities were just able to release 5 cargo trains of that toxic, nasty vinyl chloride shit that we don't need to be alive and happy on the planet, and they just never even tracked it or told us where it was gonna go. So that's really interesting. We've got some pretty horrible air quality out here. Right there. That's very weird. Oh, not sure what to do here. I mean, what kind of society are we living in when there's... I mean, on the news headlines, they act like, oh, it was this giant success that they released all this toxic shit in the air. Well, not really. That's... Like, how did the EPA even let that happen? I wouldn't have burned or released any of it. I don't know what I would have done. I guess I would have banned these chemicals before there was a train derailment and they absolutely destroyed an entire town and a bunch of people's lives with it. Holy shit.